This video will focus on close reading for the article, The Ethical Frontiers of Robotics by Sharkey. So make sure you have your book, Writing in the Disciplines, and you're going to look in the first chapter, and you should have already done the pre-reading by now. Right now I'm looking at page 5. So you should have already done the pre-reading by now, and what we're focusing on is the close reading. And that means that you are reading the article and you're engaging with it while you're reading it. And you do that by marking, annotating, and elaborating on the text. You take notes and you pose and answer questions about 3 aspects of the text. Number 1, the content. Number 2, the genre, organization, and stylistic features. And number 3, the rhetorical context. And you may be wondering exactly how you do that or what the rationale is for those. And you can figure that out by reading through these pages. And it starts out talking about pre-reading and gives you some exercises to learn more about that. And then on page 9, it starts a close reading. Gives you information about the marking, annotating, and elaborating, and some ways you can do that, some ways that you can question the text, things like that. So if you haven't done so already, read through this and do the activities so that you're learning about how to do some close reading, so that when you're watching this video, what you're seeing is the actual process and how that looks when you do the when you do the close reading. So I'm going to go ahead and let's read this text. I have made a photocopy of the pages. You can mark right in your book, or you can make a photocopy or something like that if that's easier for you. So let's go ahead, and you've done your pre-reading. You already know a little bit about the article, so let's dive right in. Robots have been used in laboratories and factories for many years, but their uses are changing fast. Since the turn of the century, sales of professional and personal service robots have risen sharply and are estimated to total 5.5 million in 2008. So you may be reading that and already thinking like, 2008, right now it's 2020. Maybe you're wondering, maybe you're wondering what the 2020 number is. And I've notated that by just saying like, 2020 number question mark. So with these 5.5 million robots, that's something that, you can think about, that's engaging with the text, that's thinking about what else might, what other possibilities there are. This number, which far outstrips the 1 million operational industrial robots on the planet, is estimated to reach 11.5 million by 2011. So you can even say, now that we've past 2011, you can kind of, this relates back to this number where, is it at 2011? You might think like, I'm not sure what outstrips means, but you can look at the context and you can kind of feel like, okay, we've got 5.5 million versus 1.1 million. We've got this out number. We can kind of figure out like outstrips probably means like, all right, so, and you can like also check later. And again, you don't always have to go and check this vocabulary. You can kind of get the gist of the sentence without that information. So, service robots are good at dull, dangerous, and dirty work, such as cleaning sewers or windows and performing domestic duties in the home. They harvest fruit, pump gasoline, assist doctors and surgeons, dispose of bombs, and even entertain us. Yet the use of service robots poses unanticipated risks and ethical problems. So you might even be thinking like, even in 2008, when this was written, they were thinking about, some of these robots. And like, one of the things you might think about is like, oh, some of the things that, you know, robots have been doing lately are maybe, you know, also driving. Because that's something that, while isn't available for wide use, is currently being tested. Another thing you can think about is maybe, you know, some of the things like, you know, domestic duties in the home. You might be not clear what domestic means, but you can see that you can tell from the context because domestic is related to the home. So that might mean, you know, you can even think about like, you know, the Roomba. I'm not exactly sure how to spell it. I think that might be it, Roomba. So you can write like, you know, make these connections, these things that you know about. And so you can think about like, notice how this text sounds like at first it sounds good and then changes. So yet the use of service robots poses unanticipated risks and ethical problems. So we're going from good to bad. So these are some of the notes that we have already. Even just reading one sentence or one paragraph, it looks like, are we even done with that paragraph? Let's check. Nope, we're not done with the paragraph, but you know, we're already thinking about, okay, what are the connections that I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about how it relates to life right now, you know, what things have changed, what, you know, is a common thing. I'm noticing, you know, the tone, how it starts out like, oh, look, robots are positive, to, oh, we have some problems. So this is our introduction this is most of the introduction paragraph now. And then let's go to the last sentence or two of the introduction paragraphs. The two main areas of potential ethical risk are considered here: the care of children and the elderly, and the development of autonomous robot weapons by the military. So here we're getting the outline of the paper. So we're going to know that what we have here is we've got two different topics. So this is going to be the paper structure, article structure. Got two topics, one topic. We've got care of children. And then care of kids and elderly, and then also military weapons. And I sometimes jump around when I'm thinking and don't always voice like what I'm thinking. So I went to start to write robots because I realized that it's better to say that, you know, we've got these two types of robots. We've got the care of kids and elderly, and then the military weapons. These are two different types of robots that this article is going to focus on. I already have figured out kind of the structure, the two main topics. So that is just the introduction paragraph. And these are some good notes that are going to help me come back to it later and see how this article is set up. So let's go ahead and read the next paragraph.